Rockstar Games can pull you in and make you forget you're sitting on a couch. They can transport you to a new city or a different time.
This game simply pulls me inside and all my problems just go away. It's like I'm no longer 10 Diamonds, I'm Tommy Vercetti.
Rockstar's worlds are populated by NPCs that are believably human. Paramedics rush onto the scene to give medical assistance, and townspeople carry out their daily routines. Based on your actions, the police decide whether to make an arrest or shoot you. The world reacts to you, the choices that you make. Elements like these build to create a world that lives and breathes. Other games fail to achieve this feeling.
All those Ubisoft games that are open world are just so boring, and there's always something in them that's super janky, and it just takes you out of the immersion.
In Bully, it makes you feel like an actual student that goes on their daily life routine. I feel like that's something you don't feel in every game you play.
I feel it is something that is often imitated, but never duplicated. You've seen it with other games such as Saints Row or Watch Dogs, where they try to take the open world elements similar to a Rockstar game, but it's never quite on that level, and I think it's something that the studio themselves have that personal touch that makes it a Rockstar game.
As a kid, I could even tell that something was off with other games. I used to play games like The Getaway Black Monday, True Crime, Streets of LA, Driver 3, and more, and the streets just felt so lifeless. I even felt depressed from these games, even though those were cool games.
The only Rockstar complimenting videos Dark Space have released have been about the map, the immersion, and the AI. 3 elements that define an amazing open world. Rockstar masterfully refines and perfects the world you're playing in.
I loved how the devs worked hard on bringing their own world to life. Everything from the game's lore, like the cities and inhabitants, through things like the cars, the weather, the radio stations, and so on. It speaks to me, to the player I mean.
Red Dead 2 is possibly the most beautiful, realistic game ever made. The environment is so accurate to North American flora and fauna. You can sit in silence and appreciate the sounds of the birds, breeze, water, and animal calls. It feels like you're really there. This is why games were made, to escape. Just turn on a radio station and drive around in the city aimlessly. Listen to the music while your mind wanders and you passively explore the world.
There's a lot of open world games around these days, but I still think that games like GTA San Andreas and GTA 5 have some of the best open worlds out there, even with how old they are.
Each game has its own vibe.
For Vice City, the attention to detail has been pretty much incredible. They nailed it down to how the 80s was.
GTA 3 and 4 had a dark and gritty atmosphere, a color palette that is dull in nature like metal and brick, fitting for its urban setting.
In GTA 3, the Liberty City was a cold and hostile place, with fog and rain and everything. Vice City, on the other hand, was warm, shining, full of parties and nice cars and color.
Vice City is saturated with neon lights and 90s aesthetics.
And San Andreas, it presented several cities with the scorching heat of Los Santos, the colder and bit more misty, and cleaner San Fierro, and the glamorous, glowing Las Venturas.
These games have a distinctive look, atmosphere, and personality that is like no other GTA game.
The accuracy of the different North American regions and historically accurate details in Red Dead 2 is a testament to how much research and attention to detail was put into creating the game and making it a truly immersive experience. Rockstar's worlds feel so real, it's as if they were there before you showed up, and it's as if they'll still be there long after you close the game. You're playing a part in their fabricated reality. This video is sponsored by Brilliant. Brilliant is a hands-on app that makes learning fun, easy, and accessible. Brilliant offers more than 60 interactive courses that help you learn in a way that feels more like playing a game rather than doing homework. Expand your STEM knowledge with these fun courses in math, science, and computer science. Lessons will keep you engaged with entertaining storytelling, tasks, and challenging problem solving. Interactive content means that instead of just reading and listening to explanations, games. You're dragging and dropping, manipulating shapes and diagrams, making selections, and answering questions. You're basically tricking yourself into learning something. Over time, you'll build upon your understanding and get closer to achieving your STEM goals. Boost your creative problem-solving skills today and enjoy learning the fun way, with hands-on lessons, colorful exercises, interactive components, and entertaining visuals. Join the millions of people already learning on Brilliant with a special offer just for my viewers. Go to brilliant.org/darkspace to get started for free with Brilliant's interactive lessons. The first 200 visitors will also get 20% off an annual membership. Rockstar Games are packed with content, history, radio stations, TV shows, advertisements, an entire internet with websites, phones, smartphones, email, newspapers, and more. Fake brands plaster everything you see on cars or drinks like Sprunk or Pisswasser, and these drinks appear across the universe in the different games because they're interconnected. Through all of this content, Rockstar crafts a story of its own. The story of where you are, when you are. Through commercialism, crime, gossip, or radio, they build a parody of American culture. Rockstar Games is made up of talented developers and writers. We have these people to thank for the games that defined our childhood. They move the industry of gaming forward as a whole because they're years ahead of what anyone else is doing, technologically and artistically. These people are geniuses. They're problem solvers, creative powerhouses. Without people like this, the gaming industry stagnates. Similar to how every year a slightly improved iPhone comes out to essentially slowly milk the people that buy into the facade, without Rockstar Games, gamers wouldn't know what's really possible, what can really be done. In that sense, they give gamers a sense of dignity that they wouldn't have before. Rockstar used to make paid DLCs for games like GTA and Red Dead Redemption. These purchases opened up new stories to you, and even zombies in the case of Red Dead. These DLCs were like game expansions. They showed more to the world than what you were previously aware of. In GTA 4, all three protagonists were somewhat connected to one another, and in earlier expansions like Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, you also got to see those older worlds from someone else's perspective. People were happy to pay for real content like this. Undead Nightmare is regarded as many to be one of the greatest DLCs ever made. These DLCs also opened the world up more to the player with new interiors, vehicles, and features. In the Ballad of Gay Tony, for instance, they included parachutes. The soundtrack to any Rockstar game is immediately recognizable. The score they made from scratch got you excited while loading into the games. The intro music of GTA 4, San Andreas, or Liberty City Stories being the best in my opinion.
The soundtrack is also absolutely outstanding. I just love this game to its core.
In GTA 5, if the police are chasing you and the radio is off, a pursuit score plays, intensifying the chase. These days, with most gamers having access to Spotify or other music, the radio stations may be less appreciated. Back before the internet was in everyone's pocket or on everyone's screen, all you had was CDs, tapes, or MP3s. So when you were playing games like San Andreas on your tube TV, you were listening to everything in the game, especially the radio. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix had awesome songs as well. Songs like Pain from Jimmy Eat World, a few Sean Paul songs, and the main menu music, Real Big by Manny Fresh. For me, launching that game now brings back the best memories. The songs Rockstar featured on the radio stations defined the games. These tracks were hand-picked to perfectly fit in the era and location the games took place in. San Andreas' Radio X or KDST were my favorites. Everyone figured out which stations played what and immediately tuned to them when getting into new vehicles. Almost every single song on GTA 4's Radio Broker was amazing. Vice City's Billie Jean clearly indicated the entire theme of Vice City, and it's a shame it was removed from the definitive edition.
Their music selection for all of their games was always period correct and had some bangers.
These songs made people happy. These songs gave gamers something to connect to, even for those that couldn't speak English. They created the atmosphere, the mood, the fun. Rockstar Games had a dedication to their craft. No matter what sensitive people thought, what the media thought, or what the senator thought, they were going to make their vision a reality. and the majority of people got the picture, and that made them the most successful gaming franchise in history.
They pushed the boundaries of what a video game could be in people's eyes. They ran on controversy with games like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Manhunt, and Bully. They didn't care, and they did what they wanted to tell great stories.
People loved the freedom of art expression Rockstar stood for. Rockstar didn't pick and choose who they made fun of. They made fun of everything and everyone. Nothing was off the table. They also let you act out pretty much anything in gameplay, no matter how offensive. Since arguably the most offensive thing possible, murder and even worse, was in their games, everything else, no matter how offensive, wasn't nearly as bad. I mean, most of these games are about being a criminal, so it doesn't really fit to worry about being politically correct, kind, or careful about people's feelings. And if that offends you, Rockstar Games probably just aren't for you.
My favorite quality of GTA San Andreas has gotta be the parodying.
Rockstar games are filled with humor. GTA is probably the funniest game series out there. The commentary radio stations feature the dumbest sounding characters, and the host makes fun of them live on air. GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4 have some of the funniest talk shows from what I remember. The commercials make fun of the real world, and it's a social commentary on what we as consumers have to put up with hearing day after day. It's genuinely hilarious and relatable.
GTA itself is a strange model of our own real-life world, and the more time you spend in it, the more you understand the real world.
They even made fun of games for doing the exact thing they're doing now, which is extremely hypocritical, but that's just current era Rockstar for you. Many people these days may not know just how unreserved Rockstar was. They didn't hold back, and because of that, they were the #1 target for anyone who thought that their own moral compass had authority over others. If someone perceived something in a Rockstar game as offensive, they wanted it shut down. So when Rockstar showed them that that wasn't happening, and they still went all in, it spoke volumes and stood up for the rights video games had. There were activists, critics, and attorneys who all tried everything to take Rockstar down. I'm not gonna name them because their futile attempt to take down art shouldn't get them any attention, but rather, Rockstar, who stood their ground, should get the attention. Manhunt, one of the most offensive studio games ever made, was banned in several countries. Did Rockstar shy away from controversy after that? No. They made a sequel. Their actions paved the way for the game industry to do anything. As people in my comments have said, they were the South Park of video games. Midnight Club, GTA, Red Dead, Manhunt, Bully, Max Payne, Smuggler's Run, and more. Any one or more of these games is rooted in our childhood. I remember playing games like Midnight Club with my uncle all the time, or co-op San Andreas with my friend Martin after school. We could only drive one car at a time, but we still had fun.
I remember playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas free roam with my brother, and he's always press the kiss button just to mess with me.
All of the past experiences we as kids had with you was truly something tremendous.
The feeling of nostalgia, that classic renderware engine feeling, good memories, that's what Rockstar made for me. Rockstar's single-player campaigns provide hours upon hours of engaging gameplay. The stories, missions, side missions, random strangers, world, and lifestyles that the characters have are engaging.
There is no other game from Rockstar Games, I would say, that even comes remotely close to the quality of Red Dead Redemption 2.
There were deep characters that you could relate to, and a killer story to rival even some of the most top-tier films.
The characters you play as or interact with are diverse in personality. The stories are beautifully written and acted. The narratives are mixed with darkness and comedy. In GTA, they didn't force you into every mission. You chose to start them when you were ready. In between missions, you were able to free roam and explore the worlds, but if you wanted to explore further islands, you'd have to advance through the story to unlock them. This was your incentive to keep playing. Dan Houser was the main writer behind these games, and he's a skillful writer.
GTA 4 has probably the best story out of all the games in this series.
I recommend them all if I could. There's good storytelling and writing in every single one.
Games like GTA aren't just rotten shoot-em-ups like the media would have you believe. These stories have a deeper meaning behind them. They can be heavy. Red Dead 2's shows Arthur's arc, where he learns it's never too late to do the right things, seeking personal redemption through serving his fellow man, and putting others' needs above his own.
Everything about Red Dead Redemption screams quality. There were deep characters that you could relate to, and a killer story to rival even some of the most top-tier films.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the few games that had a story that brought a tear to my eye and had characters that I genuinely cared about.
Nico Bellic learns that even your closest comrade can betray you, but more importantly, where greed and revenge will take you.
How much? 1,000. You killed my friends for $1,000. How much do you charge to kill someone? You ruined me.
You never did get it, did you, Carl? I need to go check on things in the hood. Man, that's the problem. You always a perpetrator, running from what's real.
Hey, man, you don't want to be in the hood?
No, that's exactly where I want to be. What you done for our hood?
Man, what the hood done for me? Always dragging me down. Ever since I got out the hood, shit been cracking. That's everybody's dream to get out the hood.
Man, you sound just like Smoke right now.
I got money. It just makes you miserable. I want to make movies.
Great. It's great. And so where exactly does this leave me in the second act of your life? This is not a game to me. All right, this is a fucking way of life.
I got a fucking family.
Yeah, well, I got nothing. No one gives a fuck about me.
I do.
I'm afraid.
There is nothing to be afraid of, Mr. Morgan. Take a gamble that love exists and do a loving act.
All aboard?
I don't want your money.
Yeah, I know you don't want it.
I don't.
You sure as shit need it. Take it.
No.
I ain't looking for forgiveness. It ain't about that. But don't forgive me. Just take the money and get out of here, please. I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But don't let yourself get killed for pride. I seen it kill too many folk. Don't say anything. Don't thank me. Just take the money and pack your bags. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
I said don't thank me. Get out of here. Please.
Rockstar Games knows how to create a narrative, to shape a single-player experience. That's their strong suit. Games do what movies can't. They put you at the center of the story. You're not a casual observer, you're in it. As much as I criticize Rockstar, they do something that I could never do. The games they make are extremely complicated, creative, advanced, immersive, thematic, beautiful, funny, freeing, and a million more fancy descriptors that make it clear that they're awesome. I've complained many times. I've repeated myself time after time in videos because when you're talking about such a limited topic, it's impossible not to. At this point, I think I've covered everything negative that there is to cover about Rockstar Games. But with Rockstar, that statement may only last a week. I want my channel, Dark Space, to be about more than just GTA, about more than complaining. I still want to call out the bad, but I also want to celebrate the good. This channel can be so much more than just Rockstar Games is bad and I don't like them and here's why. We could have been talking about Cyberpunk, Battlefield 2042, Halo Infinite, a bunch of indie games, and plenty more. Or we could talk about how the guy that made Spider-Man on PlayStation 1 is interested in doing a remake, and I even spoke with him about it. I want this channel to branch out, along with everyone that gave me a channel to make videos on in the first place. I'm grateful for every subscriber, every viewer, every comment, every message, every like, and every dislike. You guys let me do my favorite thing, make videos. I've reached over 14 million views on my channel entirely because of GTA and Rockstar Games. I owe any success I have had to them by piggybacking or milking or whatever you want to call it, video ideas off of their content. I've eaten the hand that feeds by making over 13 problem-style videos about Rockstar Games. And that's the problem with me, Dark Space. The problem with Dark Space is that I sit at the feet of true art, and I criticize it while disguising my own unoriginal ideas with a mask of scripts, music, footage, fancy features, and animations. I'm not a content creator. Rockstar Games is the content creator. I just make videos talking about their content. I'm a leech. But until I can make a movie, a 3D animated series, or something truly creative, I'm stuck in the confines of talking about other people's work. Rockstar Games taught me that the best games, the ones people really love, are the ones that go the extra mile, that pay attention to the little things, and are created with true heart, soul, love, and passion. That's what drew me to Rockstar Games. That's why I made that first video that started all of this, because I loved what they were and I didn't want to see that change. Thank you, Sam, Dan, Leslie, Jamie, Aaron, Rupert, every single developer, and anyone else who took part in making these amazing games. You guys made my childhood. You guys are all rock stars.